Hello. We're live. It's just us. We're recording.
Oh, okay.
I'll get a bit closer to you, Nicky, because otherwise I'm out of shot.
Huddle into you in the middle of the wall.
Get warm. I'm actually going up on the train tomorrow to London and back, so I'm knitting the hat on the way up.
So squishy, isn't it? Wonderful.
It needs a good block because it's
like it's into an interim
so
Mittens.
soft, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want.
Well, I've actually got a workshop scheduled to do your mittens.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
So I did that lace there.
Hiya, Jane. Hiya, Susie.
Oh, Susie it's 3 a.m. in Australia.
Oh my
I
goodness.
know,
Goodness
she's
gracious
woken
me.
up. I know. Yeah. Well done.
How do you know that?
She messaged it in the group.
Oh,
And I set my alarm.
okay.
And I was like,
Well, that's
really-
dedication.
yeah, that's what I said.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness me. Yeah, well, funny. Well, I had to do yesterday with my other job. I had to do a presentation to the Singapore and Philippines on mental health yesterday, and they wanted it in the afternoon, which meant I had to be up at 5:30
At least
in
they
the morning.
well, it's kind of debatable. Is it better if they wanted it first thing in the morning, then it'd be really late at night, wouldn't
Yeah,
it? So
that's the thing with
8-hour
things
difference.
over the other. Hiya, people are starting to come in now. Hiya, Sue. Is it Nina?
Good morning.
Hi from
San
Norway.
Jose.
We're
Hello.
talking about being cold here, and I
Yeah,
bet
we're-
you're looking at us and thinking, "What soft
Wimps.
people? Yeah, what wimps? you ought to experience your cold." So good morning from California. Now, California is probably the extreme opposite. It's
Yeah,
probably
it's probably
lovely.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Mind you, I had a lady on the sock club knit along thing on Wednesday, and she's based in Texas, and she was saying how cold it is there, and they're
It
expecting a
can
big
get very
freeze.
cold in Texas, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
We've got
Louisiana.
Shreveport from Louisiana
Mhm.
and from Sweden. Gosh, we've got a very
Very
colourful,
international.
very international mix today. We're here today. We all managed to get together again, which is fab. Just to do a final sort of live on our Twixmas KAL. Don't worry if you haven't finished yours yet. We will still be running the Ravelry Group with lots of support, but we know that lots of you are coming towards the end. So we thought this one would be really useful to talk about sort of how you do your blocking and how to finish off your KAL, particularly that bit about how you join it together. And we're going to pick Nicky's brains.
To twist or not to twist.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about blocking and people's blocking techniques, I
Uh-huh.
think, and what tips and trips that you can recommend for that. Teresa's saying gorgeous but cold today. Yeah. It's really cold here. In the shop, our wall of wool is right above all our heaters, so we're not allowed to turn the heaters on because it damages the wool. So bad planning, but it's the only place the radiators were, unfortunately. Nicky, what have been the most common questions in the Ravelry Group?
Oh, well, I think after the initial starting, I think it's funny, there was the sort of initial starting, then everyone flew through it. There's a few questions just about generally how people are blocking, and that's it so far. I do have a blocking question that I thought once I'm here, I'm going to ask other people's opinion. And it is, when you block, do you use any detergent or just water?
I usually would use detergent because, especially if the yarn's got any machine oil in it, you need to get rid of that, otherwise it won't floof up and up.
What sort of detergent do you use?
If it's got a lot of machine oil,
You're going to say washing up liquid, aren't you?
I'd say washing up liquid.
Me too. Yeah.
If it's nice yarn from here, then probably something like a Euclan or a Soak, or I've forgotten what the one.
So
you've got a lovely one made in the UK, haven't you?
This is a UK brand. It's called Little Bow Sheep, and it's naturally British, and it's all wool and cashmere wash. And this is what
lovely.
I use.
It is lovely. That
Euclan, which you can get in most good
That's Canadian,
supermarkets.
isn't it? I think originally. I think it's made in Canada.
I tend to go with the principle as well with blocking and whether I use any sort of cleaning agent, shall we just say, is that if it hasn't taken me long to knit, like a hat or the mittens, for example,
It's not that dirty.
it's not going to collect much dirt. But if it's been a sweater that I've picked up, put down, maybe gone on the floor
Dogs
occasionally.
laying on it.
Dogs, yeah, well, that happened actually on Wednesday night. I was knitting and the dog was like laid over my lap and kept on resting his head on it.
Going so soft.
Big slobbery boxer and yarn is not a good mix. So yeah, then I would tend to use the sort of little bow sheep sort of cashmere.
I think
soak.
I personally think that it does fluff up more when you use some detergent.
Smells nicer as well.
And because there's, you've got natural grease and semen on your hands, so when you're knitting it, there is a slight film that I think, I think it does it falls out a lot better, I think, when you use some form of cleaning agent.
No, I do, but I did wonder if it was just me. I did think.
Some people just steam or spray block,
they
don't
do,
they?
yeah.
So cold, tepid, or warm water for you for blocking?
Yeah, warm, like hand temperature or slightly above.
Yeah. I know.
Again, if it's got lots of machine oil, hot.
Yeah,
because I know Andrea Mowry, for example, often says she has it quite hot.
I think it's the agitation that it doesn't like,
and it's the changes in temperature, isn't it? So you don't shock the yarn. So if you're using something you need to rinse, you want the temperature of the water you're going to rinse it with to be the same as the water temperature that it's been sitting in.
Yes.
So if it was nice and warm when you started your soak and it's been sitting there 20 minutes, then it will have cooled down. So you want to match the temperatures.
Yeah, and that's my next question. How long do you soak yours for?
I'm a little impatient.
Actually, that's why I'm asking.
This one, I'm going to err on the cautious side because I noticed that the darker yarn does crop a little bit.
Yeah. Is that the John Arbon?
Yeah.
Oh, careful your stitches.
I'm about to lose them because I was going ahead without reading the instructions and forgot to change needles, so I had to rip back. So I noticed when I ripped back, I'd whistled through the second colour work section. I got to the end of it and thinking, why is that so much shorter than the first one? And so when I unwound the yarn, I noticed that the cream had picked up a little bit of colour. So I will be quite cautious, I think, with this because and it will be warm rather than on the tepid side of warm, and I won't leave it very long. I'll just wait until it looks thoroughly soaked, so it looks saturated. I think.
Yeah, because depending what yarn you've got as well in terms of the dye. Because I know with some indie dyers, and I know they put it through a process to try and keep the dye as secure as they can. But some do, don't they? They some do
reds especially.
Yeah,
reds,
if you've got a red or a dark blue,
I believe though you can put in, those colour catching sheets that you put in the washing machine. You can put one of those
white wine vinegar as well.
That will fix it. And then there's another type of detergent you can use that dyers use. What's it called? It's got a really weird name. And it's quite. It helps to take out the loose dye, and I can't remember what it's called.
What you don't want to be
Something
doing
like
is
Survectin, but it's not Survectin.
If you notice the colours are starting to bleed a little bit, you don't want to be leaving it in that water. You want to get it out as quickly as you can so that you can protect the colours. So just don't soak it and leave it completely. Just keep an eye on it.
I would say also, if you think it's going to bleed, use lots of water. So any dye that comes out, it's dispersed through a larger volume. It's less likely to taint the lighter colours.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of comments here. Thank you for that. I've shrunk way too many pure wool items.
Oh, yeah.
I've done that this week.
And Jane, you followed the conditioner advice, needed to whisk it up. So you use hair conditioner.
Yeah,
depending on how thick it is. But then again, make it smell nice.
Yeah.
And if it's a bit itchy, it will smooth down the cuticle of the wool a little bit more, won't it? So it'll be less.
I actually knitted my daughter, because she's in Edinburgh, I knitted her a really high neck turtleneck sweater, like the halibut sweater.
Oh, lovely.
Christmas. And while she loved it, she was just like
Oh,
this. So I
yeah.
actually did exactly that. I immersed it.
Oh, yeah.
Immersed it back in conditioner
Yeah.
for her to sort of just make it a little bit more
I think it
comfortable.
does help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got quite allergic sort of skin.
My son's got a jumper I bought in Norway, and it's lined round the neck with like a synthetic fleece.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
it's a zip front. So
I do
it's
that
kind
with
of,
hats quite
yeah.
often, actually.
So if someone's really sensitive, you could do the inside in a different yarn, maybe a
Yeah.
thinner yarn that's much softer, like
Yeah.
a sock yarn or something that isn't superwash, so it's not as itchy.
I must admit, I've done quite a few hats that I've actually lined, because also just around, if you've got that bit around your ears, it actually gives that extra bit of warmth
Yeah, it
around
does,
your ears,
doesn't it?
which
Yeah.
is quite nice. So yes, so that's what we do, and then roll it in the towel. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
what
put it in the machine and spin it.
You're brave.
Yeah, no, I've never had
You've
a
just
problem.
been telling us.
No, but that was the wash. The spin, I never have a problem with, because the spin, it just flops it to the outside, doesn't it? It doesn't go. It's not that kind of
Actually, I've done
agitation.
I've done it with big things, like
Yeah.
Small things, towel.
Yeah,
big thing,
like this, I'll probably do in a towel, but
No, I've never been brave enough to
I
put
put
it
it
in
inside
the
one of
spin,
those
so
little
that's
zippy
interesting.
bags.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
because it just hurtles it to the
So
side.
I've learned something new today.
Yeah.
So I would try that with a bigger eye, because otherwise they can take
Ages.
to dry,
Yeah.
particularly when it's not such
It,
nice
I
weather.
think it's a washing machine where it's doing a lot of the
And then it does
slow,
that,
and then
doesn't
it does the shush, 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 and then it does that a few times. I think that's when it's more likely to felt. But if on the spin, it just starts off slowly, doesn't it, and then builds up.
Yeah.
And the centrifugal force just
Throws-
throws it to the side of the
There you are. We're
drum.
learning something. So
It's -7 this morning.
and little
From Seattle.
Tuollen, you said you've missed the conditioner advice, but I'm guessing you just soak it in conditioner. Yeah, use conditioner like you would. So just make a solution of just a blob in the palm of your hand into the sort of warm water. Agitate the water before you put anything in, and then put your knit in to do it. I used to soak too. The soak, I do like soaks. They've got a lovely smell. Gosh, where it's -5,
I know. Yeah.
Just you finished it. So now, if you finished your cowl, you need to do the hat, and
Oh yeah.
you need to get those mittens out. So it goes in a towel or in the spin dry, or in the spin on a commercial washing machine. Then do you use blocking mats and pins?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're permanently out on the guest room floor, so it's just MySpace. Go away.
So Nicky, what's your advice? Because I've knitted. There's the. Oh God, I'll never get this right.
Look at that.
So there's the blue one, and I did the more complicated cable. So what's your advice? You block this first before you join. Yes,
yes,
that's what I'm
absolutely.
thinking.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, a few people have raised a good point that I think is important. I didn't say anything about sewing in ends on the pattern. I just I said go to the finishing page, and people have asked, should I sew in the ends? And on the whole, we all think yes.
Yeah, I think so, because unless you've woven them in as you go.
I've woven mine as I've
Yeah,
gone.
some I have, some I haven't.
So I can snip mine off.
I will have to turn it inside out and just go down and double check.
Yes, I've mostly carried mine.
Yeah,
but
I've carried quite a few. Particularly the cream, which kept it.
Yeah.
And,
And anything that was more than about 3 or 4 rows, though, I didn't carry.
Yeah.
So I didn't carry.
Good point. So maybe
ends.
flip it inside out. Sew in your ends. When you sew in your ends, you sew in your ends before you block?
I do. But I don't cut the tail off too tight, and then I block it and check where the tail is. And with this, it doesn't really matter.
And the reason that you wouldn't trim the tails first is because when you're blocking it, sometimes it shrinks, doesn't it? In terms of, and what you don't want is your tail to disappear. So chop them so that you've got about sort of 4 to 5 centimeters, maybe. still left, so you've just allowed for that, and then once you've blocked and dried it, then you can trim them right back.
And
if you want this one, it won't matter because it'll be inside.
Yeah, even on jumpers, I leave a little end, and sometimes I intentionally
Felt it.
felt that little end a little tiny bit to stop it.
Yeah.
In fact, I've just been knitting. What did I knit recently that I just used spit splice? Anybody that doesn't know what that is, basically you spit into your hands and rub the two ends together to felt them, and it works really well.
Yeah. Another one tip I saw somebody say is when you've got something that you can separate into plies, is to unfurl it, and then each ply kind of sew in different directions if you think it's going to show through on the other side. So that's quite a nice one to do.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Or duplicate stitch.
Yeah.
Or if you've got an I-cord, take it through the I-cord.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of different sort of methods that people use. So yes, block it, do the sew in your ends, and then leave the tail, but then block it, because even though I've used different needles, the tension is slightly different on mine. You can see that the textured bit, for example, is slightly wider. My cable is quite a little bit smaller, just come the right way, is a bit. So, but once that's stretched out, it will.
I was going to say about that particular cable, because a few people have said there's a smaller, and I do, because it's pearl on the edge, when you hold it like that, the pearl is pulling in.
Yeah.
But it's not actually a smaller gauge. It's just, once it's blocked, those bits will pop back out.
That's what I thought.
Flat.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem.
So, have you anybody got any other questions about blocking?
Oh, well, can I just say about? I'm just going to say. When I blocked mine, or the ones that I've already completed, I laid them out flat, and as it happens, I have 2 1-meter metal rulers, and I slid them down inside and then took them apart and then weighted them down at either end.
Right.
Lots of people have been using blocking cables.
Yeah.
Lots of people in the group. I don't have blocking cables, so I use what I have.
I do.
Yeah. So if you have that
making
option,
a nice even edge.
yes, that makes a nice edge. And I think it would be worth doing, even if you didn't have either of those options. You could consider finding a broom and a mop handle or something, like
just something
straight things.
2 straight poles. It's considerably less than a meter.
Yeah.
Slide them down inside, take them to a nice distance apart, weight them down, let it dry.
Even
I might have to go and raid my husband's workshop.
Is that sort of is that a man cave that you're just not allowed to say?
No, I'm allowed to, but I have to be careful that I put things back in exactly the same place that I took them.
Right. Okay.
But that did create a very smooth edge.
Yeah,
which is nice, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that's a really good tip actually. And for your weight, you can use, if you haven't got sort of anything that's sort of an official weight, you can actually use like a tin of beans.
I was going to say I used cans.
Yeah. Tin of beans or something. Yeah, anything that's heavy in your store cupboard that you can use. If you've got blocking wires, great, but they are an expensive item, so you can use. I'm a huge advocate of using what you've got if you can.
I've seen some people saying that you can buy welding wires or something.
I have also seen this. I've never done it, but
I don't know where you'd buy welding wires, but
B&Q, something like that.
Maybe
like a hardware store.
Maybe or
down here, Warriors in Poole. I think have them. But,
or if you know welder.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you were doing a sweater, would you block before putting together if you're seaming it?
Yes, I definitely would.
I do the shoulders and then lay it out.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, but I'm thinking about something I've knitted in pieces.
In pieces, I would definitely block first. I think it's easier to mattress stitch once you've got the edges flattened out.
Yeah.
And also you can work out what the exact dimensions of each piece should be from the schematic. You should be able to work out. And Patty Lyons has a tip where she marks out on her mat the outline of what the final dimension should be, and with pins, and then she blocks to that outline. So takes the information from the schematic, works out what the dimensions of the individual pieces should be, blocks to those dimensions, or obviously if you want to block slightly differently because you've made some alterations to whatever dimension you need, and then it's all going to fit together nicely when you sew it together.
Yeah.
Good tip. Good tip. So let's go on to joining it together,
Oh.
which is the next stage. After you've blocked it, you're perfectly dry. So tips about, and mine's ready, so you could use mine. My waste yarn is the yarn that's in the pattern, but this dark bit here is actually waste yarn, my 4 rows of waste yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So take it like that, twist it once, and join it together. And you've recommended a Kitchener stitch, haven't you?
Well, yes. I mean, that creates a very seamless join. But if people just wanted to seam it, that would obviously be also okay.
And 3 needle bind off.
Yeah. I think it does look lovely when it's Kitchener stitched together, and there's like no obvious edge.
So for those people that are inexperienced at doing this, what do you pick up?
Well, I've done a YouTube video and it's on the pattern. So
you've got a link in the pattern.
Yeah. To picking up the stitches.
I knew she'd have it.
Yes, left and right-handed. So.
So Susie says that my previous attempts at Kitchener stitch looked like a dog's breakfast. So I cast this cowl on normally and will sew up with mattress stitch.
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yes.
And
mattress stitch does create
a nice,
really nice edge.
if you do it properly and take your time to do it well, it will actually join really well.
Yeah.
But 3 needle bind off is not a bad option either. I don't think.
No.
I quite like that as an alternative. But for picking up the stitches, do you pick up the right leg of the first row?
So you want the first row.
Do you want to hold it up to here?
You want the first row of the real yarn, the main yarn, the not waste yarn. And on my video, if you're right-handed and you're holding the needle you're picking up with in your right hand, I would say you're looking. Sorry, I'm not holding it to the screen because I'm looking at it as I speak. You're looking for an upside down teardrop shape, and you pick up the first leg of the upside down teardrop shape. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it close enough to the screen.
Yeah, it might look clearer on that one because it's a brighter colour.
Yeah, you're looking for the stitch you're looking for is like an upside down teardrop.
So it's this side, isn't it?
And you want to pick up the first leg.
Yeah.
If you're left-handed, I always orientate my work away from me, hold the needle in my left hand, and you're looking for a regular teardrop. And again, you just pick up the first leg of the regular teardrop all the way around.
And that way, when you make sure when you've done it that you've got all of your stitches onto your needle, then what do you do with your scrap yarn?
Oh, well, that's also on the video. You can either very meticulously, like take your needle and carefully pick it out, or you can carefully snip the yarn, get hold of the end and do an almighty ta-da and pull it out in one long go. And I did do that on the video.
Okay.
I think it's worth it just for that. Yeah.
And I did a provisional cast on over a cable, so all I will do is put my needle back on. But it was an absolute B to do at the beginning. So I was kind of thinking, I wish I'd done the different way.
Of course, you don't have to put the twist in if you don't want to as well. Probably should mention that.
Yeah.
The twist is optional if you would much rather just sew it together completely straight and flat.
Yeah, just bring the two ends together and then you have this would be a very small cowl, but
So I've really enjoyed. I found it quite addictive, I have to say. So I'd get on the colour whack and I'd be like, no, I'm not stopping now. And then I'd get to the next bit and think, I'll just try a bit of that.
I'll just get started.
And then, particularly with the cable, I was sort of like, the first few rows were done probably in the early hours of the morning, and that's why I forgot to change my needle. So I was working on a 4.5mm instead of a 4, and I can just about see it, but my blocking will get rid of that discrepancy. But
I think something that's been really nice is a couple of people who either haven't done cabling or have done cabling in the past but haven't done it for a while, have tried it because they've been doing it as part of this project, and there is the different options for different levels, and it's right at the end. So
so you've built up. Yeah, it is. It's just it's enough. Each section's enough to get. It's established to what you're doing and to be able to read the pattern as you're going, but not so long that you're getting to the stage where you're going, oh, actually, I've had enough of doing the colour work. I want to do something else now. It's like a whole lot of refreshers.
It was lovely. It's a bit like doing a sampler
Yeah,
in some ways.
it is.
So I hope you've really enjoyed it. We've thoroughly enjoyed sort of doing it. Do you want to talk? I'm going to start knitting the hat tomorrow because I'm on the train to London. I keep meaning to ask if we can have a sample, but I'm going to knit my own.
Do you want to hold on to that?
No, you can wear it. Oh, it's nice and
That is
warm
true,
where it's been on your head. So those of you that haven't purchased the hat, is it still on?
It is. It is still on offer. Yes.
It's.
I think I like a bargain, so I assume everybody else does as well.
Who doesn't like a bargain, particularly when it's a knitting one? And to me, I think I might potentially get most of that knitted on the train up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. And do you want to share
Yes.
your
Well,
mitten?
I finished my mitten, and then I knit another
Shall I
one,
pop a pair on? Which is
and
the
then I
smaller
knitted
pair?
another one,
That's the
and then I
smaller
knitted another one. So Jane's just trying on the small. Do you
pair.
want to try
I've got little hands, so
I did those ones first, and I decided they were a
It's
bit
beautiful
petite
knit.
for me. Do you want to try?
they're lovely on me.
so then
because
I
It's
did-
got a really nice shape for the
a
thumb.
little bit of negative ease, and I like.
So then I did that one. But
They
it's more
don't
of a
feel like they're
medium.
going to get sloppy, because that's my thing sometimes with fingerless mitts. They can feel that they could.
This feels like
stretch.
it won't.
Yeah.
Feels nice and snug around the
Nicky
palm.
might not get these back.
And then I knitted this one, which I will call the large. This one is one size up from
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
It's really,
one's
really nice.
This one's got quite a bit of extra room on me.
I think if anybody wanted to, I know all of you on here, because you've knitted the cowl, will have tried colour work. But if you've got anybody that you know in your life that wants to give colour work a try, this sort of project is perfect, because it's just a short little introduction to it, isn't it? The only with your thumb, you've done a gusset.
Yeah, yes, it's a balance.
Maybe
I
the
have-
hat, if you haven't done colour work before.
Yeah, maybe the hat. Yeah, because these are going to be on either shorties, aren't they, or
Yes.
magic
yeah.
loop? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the hat's a better option for a newbie.
Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely mitt. It does fit beautifully around the thumb. Really nice.
And
Oh,
we
thank
will be doing kits for the hat and the mitts as soon as Nicky's got her pattern
Yeah, it's so
Written.
there.
written and finished.
Yeah.
Let me have a look. So you guys talk about what you're wearing as well.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is a Kate Davis
I
pattern.
recognised that. As soon as I saw you, I thought,
And it's the word I can't remember how to pronounce, but I think it means goodbye or no, cheerio. It's Chiorad or something. TIORAIDH, I think, and it was.
yes, you're looking at me and I can't help you out.
I'm trying to remember, and it was in the book that she released around this time last year, which was called not Knitting Seasons. That was the previous one, but it was the last.
10
It
years
was
in the making?
yes, and I think it was the last pattern in last year's club, and it's in her. This is in her yarn, but you could use any toothy yarn. This is a
4-ply, is it?
It's a thin 4-ply, and it's quite thick and thin as well. It's Milwaukee Tree tweed.
yeah.
But you could use Jemison's, or you want to use something toothy. So these would be lovely. They would make a really nice one.
The Resolute.
I don't think you want to go too variegated. I think a tonal will be nice.
Yeah, no, I think because otherwise the pattern won't stick out.
It would.
Is it steak?
It is steeked. It's actually 3 steeks. So it's steeked down. So you knit it in the round all the way up to the shoulders. Then you steek the armholes and you steek down the front.
That's like quite a lot of Norwegian patterns,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And then you pick up the button band, and then you pick up the neck after you've done the button band. Or yes, I think that's the way it was done.
You wear it a lot, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's very.
Yeah.
It's a nice shape. It is slightly drop shoulder, but not massively. So it fits over things quite nicely, and it's a nice weight. It's woolly without being heavy.
Yeah.
We'll come back to your questions in a moment because there's a lot of questions on there now. But do you want to show?
Oh yes, I'm wearing.
That's very pretty.
It's by Romy Hill.
She does lovely lace
yes,
stuff, doesn't
she?
she?
Look at that.
That's stunning.
Is that the right way around? No, I've got it back from. There we are.
Oh my goodness me,
and
That's really beautiful.
It's a big sort of. It's an unusual shape. It's sort of like a big.
How long did that take you to knit?
It didn't take as long as you would think. I always think lace is quicker than people think.
People see the detail of that.
There's so many holes in it.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's a
gorgeous
very.
yarn.
It was an industrial yarn. It's merino and cashmere.
Yeah.
And when you were saying about I washed this in washing up liquid because it was really oily
and quite hard probably when you were knitting with it, quite stringy.
Yes. But then it looked so different. I mean, lace always opens up, but this just looked totally different. But it's
probably changed in colour a bit as well. Did it lighten up a bit? That's the other thing I've found when it's got machine
because
oil.
the oil comes out. It's a very satisfying knit though, because you start off in the round and you knit that whole section in the round.
Oh, that's really unusual.
So, any of you that are lace knitters,
Romy Hill.
Romy Hill.
She's got lots of lovely.
So go and check her out. I'm wearing the Big Easy from Melanie Berg, which is one of our stock ones here, which I've been so cold. In fact, Noosh that was working here today, I think she had a challenge on to wear as many of our samples today. She kept on changing them, but she was like, she had about 3 jumpers on at one point. She had the Falmouth
I
Harbour
noticed
hat
that
on.
when I came in.
She had the mittens on earlier as well, but she found she couldn't work the tail with the mittens on. So she's been styling it out today. So I just wanted to go through some of these questions. So Jane, you said, does it matter that some of the stitches will be pearl when you're kitchener stitching?
No, it doesn't matter at all.
No. So there we are. That was a very short answer.
So you don't have to do the compensatory kind of going through the back first.
No. Well, I've done 2 completely normally, and they've definitely turned out normally. No, because the row you're doing is all knit stitches, so you're forming the knit stitch, so that's fine.
So you don't have to alternate.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that you're going into a pile, you're knitting and you're doing a knit stitch. Yeah.
Hopefully that's answered your question, Jane. Judith, you said you worry about the length of yarn needed to kitchener stitch. So many stitches. I've only done sock toes before. I'm afraid the yarn will tangle and we're going through.
You can
so
join
many
it part of the way through.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can join it in the same way. In fact, that happened with the shawl that I've just cast off. It was such a long end that it was really hard to estimate, and it was a sewn bind off. It was really hard to estimate. I did like 4 backwards and forwards, which is usually sort of pretty standard, but I ran out way before I just joined it.
That is a legitimate worry, yes. And I happen to know that Judith is using the Mrs. Moon,
and
which
that is quite friable, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's almost like a roving, isn't it? It's not very tightly spun.
I think you might find you want to just aim to do a little bit, and then
it does actually, you can felt that one together.
Yeah, I was going to say you can spit spice that one. I know from experience.
Just fluff the ends, so
agitate the ends, spit in your hand, as gross as that seems, and then just lay one end one way, one end the other, and just agitate like this. And it works.
And if you pull it so it's slightly tapered each end, so it doesn't end up too thick in the middle that way.
So hopefully that will give you some tips to give you some confidence to have a go. But if it's not for you, try 3-needle bind off or just mattress stitch it together. So we've got hello from Washington. We've got quite a few people from overseas. The left-handed videos were very much appreciated from Judith. Yeah,
you're very welcome.
Nicky's so good. I'm a right-handed person, and I really struggle with the left, trying to teach left-handed people. So thank you for doing that, because that's really helpful.
Yes, and if Judith or anybody else needs any help with the left-handed kitchener stitch, I'm on Ravelry, drop me a line and we'll work it out.
Yeah.
we'll do
Okay.
it.
Yeah. No, Nikki's a great source of support. So, the kitchen knitter. Good afternoon from Cheshire. Hiya. Helen, you've said it's a really addictive knit. I've enjoyed it so far. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy it right to the end. And Teresa, thank you, Nikki. Your pattern is so well written. I would
thank you.
agree.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
In fact, when I downloaded the hat pattern this morning, I thought exactly the same thing. I thought, gosh, this is so well written.
Oh, thank you. That's nice to hear.
Yeah. Having knitted tried to knit another couple recently, you appreciate when you get a good pattern, you actually can appreciate the fact that there's a lot of work gone into that. And Susie said, I love that there are both written instructions as well as the charts for each section. Yeah, me too. Yeah, some people work better with charts, some people don't. So it's great that there's an alternative. And Teresa said about, again, well-written pattern, and thank you for the videos.
That's
right. Wendy, you've bought the cowl and the hat pattern and can't wait to start it. Wow, get those needles out. Let's get going. And Wendy, you've just been recovering from an operation, so thank you for the videos as well. It's the perfect project to dip into for me. Well, I hope you're getting better, Wendy. So and your knitting is helping with your recovery. And Teresa said stunning, which I probably think is about your shawl. Okay, so as I said, this is probably our last live video because I know a number of you have sort of come to the end, but don't worry if you haven't. You can keep going back to these and referring. Ravelry Group will still be up. You can ask loads of questions there. If you're not on Ravelry, then pop either myself or Nikki a question and one of us can answer for you. Always happy to help you along the way. Probably the only other thing I should say is at the beginning I did say that we would be awarding a spot prize, and we will decide who that winner is probably later this month, and we will recruit Nikki to help with that because she's been so active on Ravelry and she can tell us who's been the most participatory or sort of got engaged the most. But the prize will be is stunning sock set, which is an exclusive colorway to us called the Mousel Lights sock set. So it's sort of replicating the very famous Christmas lights at Mousel, just down the coast from us. And the designer is the Camel's Yarn, Hannah from the Camel's Yarn, who is, I've just looked over our last year, sort of how the shop has done and what's been our bestseller, and up there every month and over the year has been Hannah's.
She does dye beautifully.
Yeah, so it's probably our most popular seller, particularly from a indie dyer perspective. So we will be picking these. Just thinking how I'm going to announce it. Watch out on Instagram and on Ravelry because I will announce who the winner is there, and then I will need you to get in contact with me and give me your mailing address so we can get it on its way to you. But a lovely prize, and it's 100 grams of sock yarn in the variegated colour with a complimentary, I think it's, I'm just trying to see, is it 10 grams? Yeah, 20 grams of a complimentary colour. So plenty to do.
It's
at least
just a
one
little
pair
bit of the pink kind of fleck through.
Just pulls it out. So that's going to be the spot prize. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking part. It's been an amazing little project, and we will obviously next Christmas we will do another one which is sort of nice and short and just takes us through those bleak weeks just after Christmas and into the early New Year. Here in the UK, it's Blue Monday. Somebody told me on Monday, which is like, did I really need to know that?
When all the credit card
bills start arriving. So yeah, I'm hoping that you're not feeling blue and that you've enjoyed our company. We will be doing another one with Nikki.
Oh, yes.
The next one will be something that Nikki is working on at the moment. We don't know the final details, but I know many of you have enjoyed the support that she's given this time. So we've persuaded her to do us another pattern.
I really enjoyed it. It's been lovely. It's so nice to see people knitting something I designed. It's amazing.
Amazing. And do share with your friends. Make sure people know what a great design and what a great pattern it is. And watch out for more patterns from Nicky. But the next knit along we will probably do in early spring, and we'll give you much more information about that on our usual channels soon. So make sure you sign up to our YouTube channel, our newsletter, and follow us on Instagram too. So just before you go, just let me check before you start your waves. Just check there's nothing else on here. So thank you.
Lots of people saying thank you, but thank you. You have made it. People who have participated.
It's been a lovely group.
Thanks, Oodles. It's been a gorgeous community to join. And I do, I know there are a number of knit-alongs where you have to pay to join. My intention is that you never have to pay to join along with our knit-alongs. It's about creating this sort of lovely community where people can just dip in and out and use their stash if they want to, or if not, we'll give you ideas with kits and things. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, and don't worry, they will remain free.
It's a nice message from Donna saying thank you.
You're
very welcome.
Yeah.
I think she won your last prize.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, we'll know the prize winner soon. So thank you. Enjoy your weekend, and I shall see you again soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, look at that, Mitt.
Yeah, like promoting a pattern right to the end.
Oh, yeah, I think it's on one for the